Hello and welcome to FRL F1 for the British Grand Prix. I'm this time, alongside me in the commentary box is actually Duze. So how are you doing, Duze?
I'm doing good, thanks. How are you?
I'll give my thanks. So,
Good.
we'll be seeing who can come out on top in this hopefully exciting British Grand Prix. Obviously both of us being British, this is going to be a close racetrack to our hearts, so hopefully we'll see some good racing.
Hopefully we see some nice and clean but strong racing.
Yes, FRL's being quite harsh with the getting rid of drivers, and we've got some new drivers here, which I probably should say. Arno's actually making his debut for the first time, so you haven't missed out on much. And Pace was here last week, but so he's not making his debut. We also have Cowie, who's making his first race, and Superhero, and Russell, who is actually Lucas. I think we all just call him Lucas. But yeah, we're missing two drivers with Stephen in the Haas. Yeah, so shame we can't get a full grid, but got a lot of new drivers. So goody good. See what happens. Oh, okay. So we're getting in, I think, the reserves now. Ah, JB's in.
That's good, that's good.
Okay, 19 now. Still not full good, sadly, but we'll see, Couple facts, actually, about FRL. Probably won't mean much, given that Jensen's winning the championship by an absolute mile, but the last three history of the winners in Britain have actually, two of the last three have actually gone on to win a championship, which was Montana in season 9, and Name Changer in season 10. So, see if Jensen can make it 3 out of 4. He's been on a roll of 7 podiums, I think, now, so it should be interesting to see if he can make
consistency.
it. Yeah. As just wait for the drivers and then we'll do our quali predictions. But yeah,
It'll be nice to see what the weather's like as well, because with Britain you never know. It
Definitely,
could be raining, it could be dry. I mean, that's on every track, but Britain is it's known for its nice weather.
Occasionally, yeah.
Yeah.
I think yesterday in F2 it was dry, but it is definitely possible in Britain for it to be raining. I think last time in Austria we had a wet qualifying, and the way the track ramped up is I think it's good to have a wet quali and then a dry race, because you wouldn't want it the other way around, otherwise quali can be a bit boring and the race can be a bit probably spread out. But we'll see, we'll see. Britain obviously racing on this track before it was an airfield in 1942, so it's got a lot of history to say the least, with its first Grand Prix and a first championship of 1950, and it is dry.
It has changed a lot through the years, though. They have done a lot of alterations through the years. It's not all stayed the same.
Yeah, one of the most recent, I think, was the start-finish straight as we now know it. If I'm right or wrong, I think it's now called the Hamilton straight.
Yeah, which I don't fully agree with. I feel like they shouldn't have their names while they're racing still. If he retired and they called it the Hamilton Straight, but why is racing still? I'm not quite sure. But
Yeah.
it is what it is.
We'll see. Jensen's usually the first one out, so we'll see if he's.
Looks
I
like
think
he
it's an
is
alpha.
now.
Jensen is, yeah. So.
To both alphas. So
Yeah.
they're keen to get out on track.
Is Zero on the mediums? Did I see that right, or am I going blind, Duzo?
I think he is. Yeah, they've got alternative strategies.
Ah. Okay, I should probably go fitted just to see.
Oh, Stephen and Stegel have both gone mediums as well.
Oh, Stephen.
Oh, Stephen's not out yet, but he's gone fitted. There he comes now.
Be interesting, this strategy. It's an easy soft medium, ignoring all the AWS. Oh no, and Cowie's left. Hopefully that's not anything too severe. I imagine he's got a lot of invites, so probably, unless he asks for one in the YouTube comments, I think he should be fine.
Now, I don't know what these strats are like and how it's worked here, but maybe do you think the alphas have come out together to maybe help with a bit of slipstream for the other person?
I think slipstream, you could do it at other tracks, I would say, than Britain. It's not maybe as powerful, I would personally say, around Britain, but the alphas, I wouldn't say they're the most, what's it called, working together team, but yeah, they're all very consistent, so I don't, yeah, they're a bit too far back to do a
Yeah,
slipstream. Cowy's joined,
definitely.
lovely. As Jensen's now just going to start his lap, probably going for an onboard. Jensen's going to come through into Abbey, the famous turn 1, which is now easy, flat out. Just going to come through this flat out left-hander, break around where the curb starts. Turn in for, I think this is Farm, if I'm right. Leading up into Village. Obviously this is now the Wellington straight, where you can make overtakes just like Hamilton and Bottas did, I think it was 2019. Into Brooklands, braking about just before the 50-meter board. Try and get the turn in, use this inside curb a little bit for braking. And then Luffield slowly, for the right-hander, turns into Woodcote, which is easy flat. And then into Copse, the old turn 1. Once again, easy flat out, Jensen hardly wiggling at all. And then we're going to turn into left-hander for Maggots, which turns into Beckett's here for the 7th gear corner. Jensen just keeping it nice and flat here, riding onto the grass a little bit, but it's a 101.0, so nearly dipping into the 59s, I think. Jensen just coming through the right-hander of Stowe, and now braking about the 100-meter board for Vale, hitting that curb nicely, using 4th gear, the short shift, and he's going to be up to the line. What's the pace going to be? Ooh, 23.9. Already into the 23, so 0 is a bit off.
Well, has someone come off? There's a yellow flag in sector 2 up near Maggots. I don't know if this guy slowed down. It was one of the Renaults.
Is he giving a slipstream? I think he is.
He's invalidated his lap.
He's giving a slipstream.
I think he's giving Jacko slipstream at the hangar straight.
God, that was a bit dodgy for a second there. Could have been chaos as Rocco. Rocco, the previous race winner by penalties, just under 2 tenths behind, with Name Changer, who goes well round here. He's won the last 2 races round here. He's in 3rd, with Tyne, who obviously got pole last time, in 4th, and then Amenda in 5th. So we've got a pretty well-respected top 4 here. Should be interesting. Anyone on that Duze in particular?
I can't see anyone on a good lap right now.
Maybe it's
and as I say that, I think Arno is going through right now.
Oh, he's invalidated.
Invalidated.
Commentator's curse was that, yeah.
Yeah, that was at its finest.
Yeah, Steggles, I think, invalidated as well. This is going to be the first onboard we ever have with, I've forgotten his name again. I think it's some... God, I've had a stinker here. Well, we could call him Rosselli. Lucas, that's it, Lucas, sorry. That's the shortened version. But he's about to go for his first lap in FRL.
A lot of people invalidating.
Yeah.
But I'm not quite sure what corner.
Pedal there goes up.
Off the track.
As David might be starting as well, or about to start, or finishing. Oh no, he's pitting. Oh. But here's Lucas. Oh, he cuts it.
Ready. Now, you know this grid better than me. Would you say a 1:23.9 is good enough to set pole, or do you think Jensen needs to go out for another lap and improve?
I think anything set by Jensen's quite strong, so I imagine Jensen will probably improve. I think he has, if I get my stats up, he has, I think, been pole, how many times is it? Been pole, a record, once, twice, 4 times in this season, so he usually does go quite well. I think Jensen might improve maybe by 1 or 2 tenths, but that's a pretty strong lap already, blowing the F2 pole out of the water quite comfortably, as O'Stevens just on a lap here on the mediums, but...
JB just set a lap 1:25.4, puts him 11th. Not quite what he wanted, but a decent lap.
Yeah, I think he finished in the end P9 in F2, so if he can do that again in F1, this grid is definitely a lot more competitive these days, I would definitely say. So getting into the points in F1 now is no easy target, I would say. Even though we only have, well, only 19 drivers, is still quite strong.
As Cowie is struggling again, left the session. Hopefully he can get back in and set a lap, because he hasn't got one registered yet.
Oh, Stephen.
As O'Stevens.
Yeah.
A 127 on the mediums, but they are 3 laps old, so I'm hoping he can go in and get some softs and maybe improve on that.
I think some people will be scoffing at that as JB's finishing his lap. No, he's pitting. But Stephen, if he goes into the softs, and yeah, as you said, has fresher tyres, I think he could improve definitely by a solid second, because I think it's 7/10 the gap from softs to mediums at this track, as we don't actually have anyone on a lap at the moment, so...
Yeah.
Is it Jensen? No, it's Zero, I think, who's next one to start. But yeah. As well, Alfa Romeo, even though Zero's been quite harsh on himself, generally this season, they're still winning the Constructors' Championship, Alfa Romeo, by 76 points. In the drivers, I think Zero is 9th with 65. And a lot of the people ahead of him, he's got 3 people who've left the league, but he's got a lot of fast people now who are catching him up as well, so he should make his way up the standings, definitely, but... Oh, he's gone purple, but I'm not sure whether...
61.
Yeah, you can read too much into that. Anyone in particular you're watching for the first time which is impressing you, Duze?
Obviously Jensen, without saying anything, you can tell 1:23.9 is always respectable. But I was surprised on JB because I did see him in F2, and I feel like he could fit in a good lap. I feel like he has a better lap than the 1:25.4, so I'm going to be keeping an eye on him. Ballboy going up to 10th. You know, like last time I saw him, he was one of the back markers, and now all of a sudden he's up to 10th. So that surprised me quite a bit.
We've got quite a few British drivers in this Grand Prix, so there's a lot of home Grand Prix here. I think Ballboy will be trying his best for the Mercedes outfit as Zero goes P4, which is just under 3/10 off his teammate. That looks promising from Zero, definitely. Looking a little bit more competitive than normally in quali. As I think Jensen is probably on a lap, yeah. Oh, he's invalidated, oh no.
Jacko's on a lap.
Oh, Name Changer's about to finish his lap. See if this is going to be pole from Name Changer. He's going to come across the line. It is going to be pole. Name Changer, he beats Jensen's time by just over half a tenth. It's a very strong lap from Name Changer. Actually looking like he's put in a bit of practice than he usually does for FRL. The esports
defending his championship.
Yeah, as well. He won it in, I think it was season. Was it? Did he win it? I think he did. That's poor for me if he didn't, but yeah. Name Changer looking quite solid there in P1. I think Rocco's on a lap as well. He's just coming through the Wellington Straight. Oh, I probably got that wrong. This is Cops.
Jacko
yes.
going past Stowe. He's on a lap. Going around the last 3 corners, nearly losing the car a tiny bit there, but managed to snap it back. And he's going 9th.
Solid.
With 1:24.9.
Jacko actually hasn't, I would say, I don't think he's appeared since Australia. Or even, I don't think whether he's even appeared in Australia. Oh no. He did do the first 4 races, but he hasn't scored points this season. And then after that he left, so... Oh, Rocco and Prix quite close, but... So yeah, Jacko kind of making a bit of a comeback and looking fairly fast. There's a lot of drivers here who, one, haven't maybe raced in F1 loads of races apart from probably, I would say, Bullboy, Name Changer, and maybe Brookie. But yeah. And we still yet to have Arno, David and Cowie set a lap time. So that should be... Maybe they'll get into the top 10 as well, so...
And I just say that Arno sets his first lap, I think, which is a 1:25.6. Cowie, I don't know if he's actually in the lobby. Hopefully he's back in, but I didn't keep an eye on it.
Yeah. And the comments, I don't think he's saying anything. I hope that's not Cowie on... No, thank God.
Ooh,
Okay.
I don't know if that's allowed, but Pace did cut the pits then, but I don't think they're too strict on that. But if that
Was that the entry or exit?
Yeah, the entry.
I think it's fine in qualifying, as long as you don't massively cut it. But is anyone on a lap? Rocco is not on a lap. Let's see, Amanda. Okay, Amanda's on a lap now, so he's got a Williams in his way a little bit. Obviously, a McLaren, quite historic around Britain as well. I think Amanda at the moment, he doesn't mean much, but he is going faster than the lap record by Max Verstappen.
That's
And 20, oh, as he invalidates. Oh no. Well, who's now, I think Bullboy? No, okay, he's pitted. Oh no, he's backed off. Superhero, okay. He's also on his debut in FRL, so the two AlphaTauris are looking to make a good first impression here. Hopefully not making any enemies. I think that would be the last thing you want to do in your first race, but...
And one, as it stands right now, is in the top 10, so it's looking good for him.
Yeah. Well, see, I think previously they had Hiddy and Tyres, who you may not have seen, you probably didn't see, but last race they did crash each other out, so there was no team orders there, and they both left, so we got two new drivers in. Hopefully we'll stay till the end of the season, but Superhero, I didn't see a second sector split unless you did.
No, I didn't. I don't think it was that. Oh, when he spun!
That's unfortunate. I'm tempted to check the delta, whether he was gaining, but that might be even more painful, because it looked fairly competitive. As
it would have shifted him up the rankings a bit. It's unlucky for him.
Ooh, JB getting all kinds of out of shape in that Red Bull. Just out of Woodcote. As he's going to come through Cobbs, is it flat out? Oh, it's a little lift from JB. Not confident enough as he goes wide as well, so probably got the turn in a little bit off there. On the pad through Magnussen Beckett's is not as good as the wheel, that's for sure, but he's looked like he's kept it pretty hooked up. He scrapes off a little bit of grass and he's 3/10 down, so JB's going to have a world-class esports last sector here if he wants to move up the order, but he can pit, I think. Yes, and he does. He has got enough time. Oh, Stevens on a lap as well. He's on softs now. Oh, he's even looking very competitive. Only a 10th of Bullboy. Okay, and he pits. Bit of a shame.
I think they want to get in so they're ready to get out for their hot lap and their last lap.
Oh,
Track Evolution.
Anyone you got a soft spot for, Duze, in this race, or anyone you're rooting for in this qualifying session, or you think you can get up the order?
Well, you know, I'm a fan of Pace because he won F2, and you know it's always good when someone wins F2 and goes up into F1 and maybe gets a win or two. But
yeah.
I just want to see what Bullboy's made of. You know, I commentated with him for a season or two. I just want him to do good, even if it's not a win, but just some point finishing.
I think Bullboy would be mad. I think he can get a win, but definitely some solid points. His best, I think, was 6th in... Yes, it was 6th in Melbourne, Australia.
Let's hope for a podium for Bullboy. Podium for Bullboy.
I guess that'll be in the predictions. But yeah, Pace as well. I think Pace, I just realised he's in 6th, which is very respectable considering... it's his only second race back on debut. I think in Pace's last race, where did he finish? He finished P9. So anything better than that, and he's making slow and steady progress. I'm not sure which of the top guys are starting.
I was confused when he didn't get put into F1 straight away, because normally the F2 champion normally does go up into F1. But he has better late than never, I guess.
Yeah,
Hopefully he can scrape some points and maybe be in next season.
yeah, definitely. Pace, I think, like David and I think it was Amanda making their debut, those three were having almighty scrap in Austria. So he does seem writing amongst that midfield pack. So just where that racing point does belong, along with the two McLarens. But yeah, Jensen, if you're going off realistic pace performance, he's definitely outperforming that Alfa Romeo. He's really, well, he's hooking up the laps. He's about to start. I think this is going to be his last lap, Jensen. So do or die for Jensen here. He's going to have to gain just 700s, but see if he can do it. So Jensen just going to come through here. I think it's a farm. Opting for second gear there, not first gear. As we
And
yeah.
the bad thing about Britain is if you do start second and you get a better start than first, it is hard to go down the inside of first corner. Because it's such a fast corner, you risk yourself getting caught up and a crash happening.
Oh,
So
I've
it
just
would be
seen
good to
Cowie.
first.
Sorry to butt in, but Cowie's
Right.
nice to see. He's out on the track. Lovely to see if the two 18th and 19th could get in a lap. But yeah, I know what you mean. I definitely think one of the most dodgy turn ones, if I can say that word, is probably Britain, in a sense that it is, you can see a lot of collisions because of the slightest bit of contact, and with these cars you do go spinning. As Jensen's going to come around a second sector split, and he's 74 thousandths down. Jensen here, he's going to have to send it for the chocolate biscuit, so see what he can do. Into Stowe, he's going to push the limits. Is he going to overstep the mark? And he does!
Invalidated.
Now let's see what the others can do. Rocco, he's a 10th up now, so Jensen looking like he's going to plummet down the order a bit. Tyne, he's finished his lap. It's only P4 for Tyne. Name changer. He's also on a lap as Jensen understandably retires. Yeah, Rocco's ahead. Rocco's gone purple. He's over a 10th up here. It's advantage Rocco. Is he going to make the same mistake? Is he going to invalidate? As he keeps it clean through there. Rocco in his second race for Relentless. See if this is going to be a Relentless lap. Is he going to come off club? Is it going to be pole? It is from Rocco! Brilliant pole from Rocco, but let's see if Name Changer is going to spoil the pass. He's not improving by much. Is he going to take pole off him? No, he isn't. And that is going to be Rocco's, if I can find it. Jesus Christ. I think it's his 5th pole of the season. So Rocco looking really strong, but Zaria, he's invalidated, and David, he managed to set a lap, and Cowie. So all the newcomers of Cowie and Lucas in 9th and 10th, and who else is debuting? Arno on his debut at P18, Superhero P19. Bit disappointing from them, but I think definitely they'll make up some positions.
While I was on board with Jensen, I did realise before he invalidated, he did have a little bit of a half spin at left field, but I don't know if that affected him a lot.
I think we'll see. I guess he'll probably say in the interviews and probably beat himself up for that, because P3, it's in DRS trains. P3 usually, it might be jumping the gun about DRS trains, but usually you do not want to be in P3. But slipstream isn't really much of a thing really around Britain with the turn 1. But yeah, I think there's definitely Jensen, maybe he has a race-ish setup, so maybe he'll make up positions in the race. But it's a tasty looking top 3 there, all very close around a track where, to be fair, there's a lot of time to gain and lose around Britain, so looking tasty.
As we know, points are won in the race. It's alright stringing up a lap for quali, but it's no point if you can't do anything in the race, so we'll see.
I was just going to quickly say, as I always do, who is your qualifying performance of the day? Who surprised you here?
I'm going to go with let's have a see it. I'm going to go with the AlphaTauri, you know.
Of who?
The Russell. He's first race, and he's got into the top 10. So I'm going to go with Russell.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm most impressed with Cowie just behind. I think for his debut as well, just like Lucas or Rossell. Impressed me, definitely. Maybe not ideal being 10th, obviously, because you're just on the fringe of be able to start on the tyre you basically want, but I think he'll definitely take that given how competitive I thought he'd be, just maybe around P15, but he's impressed, definitely for me. As is it raining?
That will be nice if you can't go wrong with a bit of weather change halfway through the race because it really does spice up the strategy because you never know when the rain's going to come, when it's going to go, when the switchover is, and who's going to go first. So it really puts people to the test. So hopefully there's a bit of rain or weather change in the race.
Yeah, at the moment it is obviously bone dry, but I think that does usually provide some good racing, but at the end if it does obviously start to get a little bit damp, it can obviously spice it up a bit, which hopefully we won't have someone like maybe name changer in a Mercedes doing a Mercedes and pulling out a 20-second gap, or Rocco, or even Jensen for that. But definitely going to be an interesting race. Name changer has the form on his side in the past, but obviously past doesn't change anything. So be interesting here. As I think we'll just wait for the tyres to be seen and then we'll do our quali predictions. Ah, the AWS have actually got the strategy right, that's good. Yeah, easy one stop. Okay.
Around lap 11.
So Duze, who do you think will win the race in Britain? And who do you think will just get that silver medal or silver trophy? And who do you think will make up the last step of the podium?
Well, I'm going to go with Jensen first because I haven't like seen anything, but by the rumours, he has got some blistering pace.
Yes,
So I'm gonna go
yes.
Jensen first for the win. I'm gonna go for Alfa Romeo 1-2 and go 0 second,
Ooh.
and I'm gonna go for a driver of the day performance 15th to 3rd, and Ballboy's gonna take home that bronze trophy.
Interesting, interesting. Zero hasn't got a podium. Obviously, neither has. Oh, wait. God, I had to blink my eyes for a second. Sorry, Barry got a podium. But no, neither Bullboy or Zero have got a podium yet. So I think definitely they'd be taking that. And Jensen, we see, wants to do well in his home race as well as Rocco. As well as I could go on with all the drivers. But definitely a shout there. I think I'll probably. I think Jensen will win by pure form. He's on really good form and he's quite a fast driver to say the least. I think second will be... Ooh, there's all of them are so good in the top 10, it's tough to say. I'll put Amanda there. I think he'll maybe keep it clean and make up for any errors. And I'll actually say your man Pace. I think he'll make up the last step of the podium, which I think would be his best performance ever in F1. And he's looking really strong as well.
Contact between 11 and 12. But quickly, while the cars are lining up on the grid, we have obviously the top 10 all on softs, and we have 11th on soft. But there's only another two, Brookie and JB are both on the softs, and the rest are on the mediums. So let's see if they've got a strategy to pull out the bag to maybe get some positions up.
Yeah, early on I think that'll be the target for them. As we will wait for the lights to turn on for the 12th race of the season, with Rocco on pole as the lights have come on now. They're going to rev their engines. Rocco, can he get a good start? And it looks like he has. He puts up into overtake. Rocco's just ahead. Jensen looking quite dangerous behind Name Changer. And down through the right-hander of turn 2. Name Changer, he keeps second. Jensen looks like he's going to dive it down the inside. Tyne is just behind in 4th. They've kept it clean so far. Zero in 5th as well. Jensen, he's lost a position. He's going to maybe lose another one to Zero. Jensen, he's going to have to make it up on Tyne. That looks the closest battle at the moment. Is he going to send it? No, he's going to wait and be patient. Any battles in behind? Look, single file, but the two Renaults look like they've come to blows, and that's little Brookie, is it? I think that's Brookie into a spin. Did you see what happened there between the two Renaults, Duze?
I think Arno actually got caught up in it, but I think there was a slight bit of contact and Little Brookie lost. And also at the start, when they were battling, JB, I don't know what happened to him, but he started spinning as well and went wide on corner one.
Oh, as Bullboy's made up a position on his arch nemesis, Steamer. I don't think any of them have got damage. Brookie, I'm not sure about Arno. Arno doesn't as well, so as far as I can see, no one's got damage at the moment. So, oh, it's Rocco. Rocco's lost the lead to Name Changer. Silly of me to miss that, but Rocco having a bit of a sloppy first lap, sorry. But Name Changer, he's now leading. Obviously Sep's fastest lap, and he's used a lot of his ERS though to get up into the lead, but maybe that's the strategy for Name Changer, to go all guns blazing as Tyne gets very close here. Tyne obviously was up there in Austria as well, but the strategy let him down with the Alphas as well. They're in 5th and 6th. Oh, Stephen, I can assure you, is not in a lead. Although that would be very interesting, as Superhero must have had damage. Hopefully he doesn't retire the car. As Jacko loses a position to David. David gets ahead. Hopefully Jacko wasn't the cause of that contact early on.
Superhero in the pits.
Was that a change front wing? Must have been, probably.
I think it was.
But yeah, it's Tyne who looks the most dangerous in the top 5 to make up the position. Zero as well, he's sitting quite comfortably in behind of Jensen. Alfa Romeo looking quite poised, even though Jensen obviously lost the position. But oh, Pace as well, he's dropped down a couple of positions as well. He's dropped just ahead of his teammate, so possibly Pace being a little bit too cautious maybe on lap 1. As Lucas has also made up a position, as Arno's retired, and it's a safety car. As Name Changer pits, Tyne pits as well. Is that Jensen pits? Zero can't pit either, Amenda pits. And that's Petrovo who pits, Pace who pits, I can't...
Rossell.
Cowie pits, Bullboy pits. I feel this is way too early, if I'm being honest, but...
Like every soft runner has pitted.
How's that happened?
Mostly every soft runner.
Where do you know where Arno crashed? I think it was Cobbs, wasn't it? It looks like it.
Yeah, it's around there.
Big shame for Arno on his first race back, only managing to complete 2 laps, but yeah, big shame for Williams. They do not, looking up the grid, have a spare driver, so that means they will once again be going home with no points, sadly for them.
Looks like the white striped tyres are coming out.
Yeah, clearly some of the guys from Name Changer. Oh no. What's happened to Name Changer? Name Changer has dropped down the order quite a bit here.
Got jumped in the pits.
Was that for a new front wing? It could be. Or did he get held? Because in that Mercedes, obviously it's the first in the pit lane. I think Name Changer's being held up in the pit lane behind everyone else and has lost out massively. And that means Tyne in the Ferrari, at the moment, you could say more or less has the provisional race lead. So this is really interesting now. So, different strategies here. If there's another safety car, that'll actually put Lucas maybe up into the podium positions. But we will see. This also helps Superhero as well be brought back into it after making an early spin. Good to see him back. But anyone in particular maybe who gained the most positions, Duze, you saw?
As I think you've mentioned, I think Tyne, he has benefited the most from this, I think personally. You know, he's jumped the person he was facing, and he's going to be jumping Rocco if there's no other safety car, and he can keep within the pit window. So I think Tyne going from 3rd to 1st is some. If he can keep up the pace, keep Jensen behind him, I think he'll be provisional 1st.
Yeah, I just saw T-Hook there pop in the YouTube comments. Hards will take a while apparently to get up to temperature, and that's not going to help people like Tyne on the hards to, I guess, fend off Jensen, who's actually picked the mediums. So Jensen going, I would say, aggressive with the strategy. He's going to have to get past people like Little Brookie, Stego and Jacko, who aren't, compared to him, they're quite slow obviously, and that might be quite difficult. So he really is going to have some controlled aggression here from the Alfa Romeo. who's at the moment just behind his teammate of Zero, who's actually now looking quite good in seconds. But who knows if that strategy from Jensen is going to be right or Tyne. But the race definitely looks like it's going to get quite spicy at the end with the strategy. And hopefully with the racing as well, obviously.
Now, Jensen, I feel like if he gets a good enough start on those softer tyres, going to keep the temperature more in the tyres as well compared to the hard. If he gets a rocket start, he might get time, and yeah, I think he might benefit as well. It's between Tyne and Jensen right now. It's hard to tell because you don't know what the traffic's going to be ahead of them with all the dirty air, but it all depends on the start, really.
Yeah. Nice to see 18 viewers watching a safety car, which is... Oh no, Superheroes left. But yeah, I was just going to mention 18 viewers, that's probably one of the most we've ever had. Shame it's under a safety car, so hopefully we've provided enough entertainment under a safety car, but that's bad for Superhero, obviously. But from last, I guess he's not going to lose out too much. He'll be hoping the safety car doesn't come in a slap, but I think it'll be announced. Oh, and he joins back, so perfect timing. As Rocco's going to lead us off here. See how much he's going to back off the pack, or is he going to go early? We'll see if the safety car comes in. As Rocco's got Zero on his tail at the moment, with Lucas behind as well. And also Jacko as well. He's on the mediums. He hasn't pitted, so he looks strong as well. But Rocco's gone now. So he's gone after Vale. Zero just behind. And green flag running.
Start.
Yeah.
8 tenths already, nearly a second already. And it's crucial that Rocco goes for it now because he doesn't want to be in that DRS. He wants to be out the DRS detection zone by the time of the activation, or it's going to be hard to keep the lead.
I can't keep up. There's been some graphic glitches. Sadly, Cowie gets a penalty, but it looks single file as the splits go a bit silly. Tyne is on the back of Brookie, even though Tyne's on the hard, so that's impressive from Tyne. But he's just going to be saving his DRS time. Tyne doesn't need to do anything silly. As I think, as you refer to there, Zero's maybe being caught out a little bit here. As Cowie makes position on Bullboy. But yeah, Zero seems to maybe being caught napping there. I think he's within a second, but I can't tell.
My timings have gone.
Same, yeah.
But so it does look like from 7th all the way to 5th. It looks
name
like
change has spun. Name change has spun. Sorry to butt in, but name change. I think he lost it into Cops there. Maybe his setup was very unsteady because he just looked like I didn't catch that, but only just at the end. He's lost his whole left front wing, so he's definitely gone into the wall there off Cops. And that's big for the championship, so that's going to really help.
Strategy.
Yeah,
the strategy's completely gone out the window now. A Superhero on very bad internet and only just joined has overtaken now. Name changer from basically the lead of the race. Within 5 laps, he's now 18th. He's going to be around 20 seconds behind the whole grid.
As Tyne, look at that. Tyne's getting very close to Brookie. Is he going to go down the inside of turn 1? No, he thinks better of it. Tyne looking like he's maybe got a little bit of a cooler head here. As Brookie gets past Stegel, so Brookie went from defence to attack there. Possibly Stegel making the mistake. Stegel's going to fight back though. He's not going to go down without a fight here. The Red Bull, is he going to be quite bullish with this move? Nah, Stegel just sits in behind. But he's just weaving around that gearboxes. I think that's... Superheroes left the session again. I think...
And I have my timings back, finally.
Stegel's ahead of Name Changer, but he's... Yeah, his internet seemed to... Yeah, be disappointing him, sadly, for Superhero. And obviously the AI level in FRL is 40, which isn't ideal as... Yeah, Stegel gets a penalty, but...
Something's happened to Bullboy as well, because he was all the way up with Stephen, and now he's lost 3 places.
Talk about losing 3 places, I think Stegel's just done that as well. I think he might have got caught on the grass there, maybe he tried to fight a tank slapper because he's lost a couple spots as
And
well.
picked up a penalty.
But look at Tyne. He's only, I'd say, 5 seconds, I'd estimate, or maybe 6 off the lead. But he's definitely looking good in 70s. Obviously, I think he can go to the end on these tyres. So
DRS enabled. This lap, as is a yellow McLaren off.
No.
David.
Has he hit the wall though? Oh, it looks like it's kicked off a bit. I can't see that well, but he's got sadly a 10-second time penalty, which you don't need to serve in the pits. So I think he slowed down enough there, so he should be able to get that removed. Has he got damage? Luckily for the McLaren, he doesn't have damage. So David, he's still in this race because that penalty, I imagine, will get removed. He didn't deliberately cut the corner, as you could see there. But hopefully Cowie didn't get any damage either, because it looked like it was, well, I wouldn't say a dangerous rejoin, but yeah.
And talk about teammates, Jacko and Brookie. If Brookie can stay with him, he's going to be able to get in the DRS, and there might be an overtake on our hands here.
Look at Tyne, though. Tyne is pushing Brookie almost. I think he's had enough almost. He's been on the back of him for a while now. And Jensen's going to follow him through. Jensen needs to be aggressive here. Jensen's just going to sit behind Tyne. Is Brookie going to fight this though? Brookie's still side by side with Jensen. Jensen's not going to be happy with this. Just any bit. As Jensen, it's a clean move from him. Gets past Brookie as, I think that's an Alpha Tauri going very wide. Who was that? Lucas, I think. As it's starting to kick off here, Amenda is close as Jacko gets a penalty. Jacko actually looking quite comfortable in P4, but Tyne is close. Amenda goes for a clean move on Brookie as the camera angle's quite poor, and Brookie dives it down a little bit rash on Amenda. Now Steggles on the back of him. He's going to try and go outside of Village, and it looks like he's made it stick here as it's all kicking off. I don't know what's happening. Brookie's losing places left, right and centre. I think those softs are going off at the moment. Pace is making his way back up where he was before. Steggles been caught out, and Brookie was nearly in a spin there, and he's absolutely kicking off from 7th to 10th. I can't get my breath back. God.
Jensen manages to get past Jacko there, and now he's on the back of Ty.
Yeah, he needs to get past him as well, because the mediums can't make it to the end, as I think T-Hawk said as well in the comments. He can't make those last to the end, surely, so he's going to have to probably
DRS, so Jensen's going to be able to get some time on him. Probably not going to go for the overtake here. I wouldn't think so.
Amenda's going down the inside of, I think that's Doe, if I said that right, and he's going to get the position, and that's 6th place for Amenda, and he's made a pit stop as well, so this might be provisional P2 for the McLaren, and I think I might put him in my predictions as Brookie pits. Amenda looking very strong. Anyone Duze looking particularly good at the moment?
I'm going to say Amenda's getting some positions. Rossell's still up there, but he also has to pit still. Ballboy and O'Stephen I've seen to keep changing positions, so I think they're going on a back and forth. But I think that someone sliding under the radar is Peter Vol. We haven't mentioned him much, but he is in P10 and he is on the hards.
Look at that.
And he's slowly but surely got no penalties as well, where everyone else does around him. So I think he's going under the radar a bit, but we've got to watch out for him.
Yeah, you're definitely around him. He's got, I mean, excluding David with the penalty, obviously, he's got 4 drivers around him with penalty, so he is going to be gaining a couple of positions. But his teammate there, sadly, just lost the position Tyne from Jensen, which, to be honest, I think many people would have predicted into Brooklands, but at the moment
here going to get DRS on Russell, going up the hanger straight now. I don't think he's close enough to make an overtake, but it's definitely going to put the grid closer together in this DRS train.
Yeah, if you look at Russell's, we should just call him Russell. If we look at his ERS, as he pits, he was very low, so I think Jensen was definitely going to get him on the next straight.
I think he has made the right decision there to pit at that time. But Rocco and Zero leading right now, but obviously still has to pit on the softs. I think Rocco's just gone in the pits.
Yeah, Rocco. See where he comes out actually. Obviously behind his teammate, although Stephen, but Rottel or Rosset, Rosset 10, Russell, or just Lucas. He's also just behind as well in the pits with David as well pitting. Name change is nowhere near these guys with that spin, so that's unfortunate for him. And Superhero's obviously disconnected, so name change, he's got a lot to do, doesn't he?
Will Jensen have to pit again? Because normally if it's tyre saving, but he is in clean air, but he is putting some laps in right now to get ahead of time. I don't know if he has to pit. Hopefully he can.
I think he will.
The race.
I think he will, sadly, because I would say it'll be tight. I think I'll leave it there. I definitely think it's touch and go, which should leave an exciting end. As Percival, looking at him, if Jack Stegel doesn't have DRS here, it might be an easy move. As he doesn't, and he's low on ERS. Percival, he's not particularly gaining. Stegel with a very fast straight line speed setup, it seems. But yeah, he just has to sit behind now.
As you said, he looks good. 10th with the point. And it looks like there's going to be a Pace now has got a penalty as well.
Zero pits as well. Yep. So that leaves us with the guys who haven't pitted yet, apart from Jack Stegel and Jacko. So Jensen leads, but it's well, we won't talk about whether he'll make it to the end. We'd be here for hours, but yeah, as Zero is he going to come out ahead of Rocco? That should be interesting. No, Rocco pulls out a massive lead. So Rocco is definitely going to be on a charge there. It's 7 seconds to JB, so he has enough laps to just put in the solid laps which kept him in the lead for so long. So
and then slowly but surely closing up on time as well.
Yeah.
He hasn't got the DRS off Jensen as well, so Amend, if he can get a good Maggots and Beckett's here, he might be able to get him on the hanger straight.
Yeah, it's a bit baffling to me that Tyne isn't using his ERS. I thought he would want to be in Jensen's DRS there because it's very close. But I think Tyne is maybe forcing Jensen to push here because once it's on that kind of gap, I think Jensen is going to want to use all his ERS there, and maybe it's just a trick by Tyne. But that's probably me thinking too much.
Just overtook Stegel, and as I said, Peter Vol, he was below the radar, and now he's all of a sudden just got this burst of pace. He's up to 5th, no penalties. If he can keep it clean, he's in for some serious points here. And as I talk about penalties, JB with a 3-second time penalty. And it looks like Tyne's for second.
You talk about penalties, look at Bullboy. Bullboy's going to go all the way up to P6, which would be his joint best, with O'Steven behind him and JB. So he's got the two F2 reserves just behind him. See if Bullboy can show the F1 pace as JB has a look at O'Steven. I thought that was going to be a massive collision there. JB just thinks
said
better
about
of
7
it.
seconds up to JB. Rocco just set a 1:27 something. I'm not quite sure it was, but I know it was fastest lap.
Yes, Jack Stegel there just having to fight a spin. I was going to say he looked quite good after Pedal overtook him, but he's having to use a lot of his ERS here. Jack is definitely going to have to be pitting soon. I would say it's around lap 16, I think, for mediums to softs, which is definitely possible. And he would filter out, I would say, around Brookie. So it's not looking the best for Jack. It seems as though the strategy of pitting under the first safety car might be the best, but it's yet to be seen if there's another safety car, which is always a possibility.
And Amend, he's using so much ERS to try to keep the time. He might be actually damaging his own race.
Look at O'Steven. O'Steven's now coming under attack. Every time I go on the board with a driver trying to overtake, they seem to be now on the brink of getting overtaken. But O'Steven there he's been glued to Bullboy the whole of the 13 laps. Probably under safety car as well, going for the same strategy, but these two will have some interesting words in the interviews because they just can't be separated, can they?
And it looks like Zyro's just set a fastest lap as well. And we have T-Hawk in the chat saying Jensen's left front will be dead by the end of the race. So it's hard to say. If he is in clean air, and if he tyre saves properly, he will be able to maybe stretch out. I'm not quite sure. But if Tyne keeps enough, he'll be able to catch him. It's going to be juicy.
Yeah. I've got a feeling another juicy battle will be probably name change from Brookie, because name changer is probably going to be very annoyed about obviously the incident, but to be honest, he's made swift work of Brookie there. Brookie has pitted as well, as Brookie just gives him a light brush on that Mercedes as he's looking at the in-US rear wing. But yeah, name changer is going to be pushing so hard at the moment on those tyres. He's really going to need to. Yeah, just Macho there. I think that's about Jensen.
And Peter Vol slowly catching up with pace now, is within DRS range. Peter Vol may be the underdog here.
Oh, I think Amanda can definitely win it, because if you exclude Jensen, let's just pretend he can't make it to the end for the sake of it. I think as well, he's in the DRS of Tyne, and if he can just cling onto the DRS of Tyne, I feel like Amanda could be in with a shout here. Of definitely a podium, but a win is definitely possible, especially if penalties go his way. As Rocco, is that a double overtake? It might just have been there, or maybe O'Stephen let him through. But Rocco, he's steaming through at the moment the traffic. As O'Stephen doesn't care about Team Audi. He's gonna try and go round down the inside, but he can't make it stick. But O'Stephen could have been Haas Britain all over again.
The only thing you said about Amanda there is, if he gets past Tyne, he has nothing to defend with. His ERS is on 6% right now, and he is in overtake. He's got the DRS, but I don't think he'll be able to keep Tyne behind him.
Yeah. Just looking as well at the battle for 6th. Stegel still on those tyres, which I think he needs to do. Rocking a new helmet as well, as I found out in practice with him, as Jacko nearly comes to blows with Jack. These two on the same Lapole tyres as well. They're going to go side by side into the 3rd sector, and Jacko just...
And Cowie just beyond Jacko and tried to pinch a space there, but
yeah,
Jacko
always closing. But look at Pace as well. Pace is also going to fight Pettervol. Pettervol looks like he's under attack here, the Ferrari. The Flying Horse looks a little bit unstable at the moment in the 4th. As Jack as well, he's still defending from Jacko and Cowie. So it's all kicking off here at the front, or for the points at least. As Rocco... wait, Rocco's pitted!
Oh. He must have got damage or something.
Well, that's I'm not sure whether you could say game changer with where he would have been, because it would have had to make up a lot of time, but
that certainly ruined his points.
He's obviously running quite high up in the standings. He's running 2nd, so he wasn't going to make up points probably on Jensen anyway, unless Jensen pitted, which is touch and go. But name changer out of the points as well just shows Jensen is, if he can make those tyres last, he's going to have massive benefits in terms of the championship to extend that championship lead even more.
Looks like Pace is slowly keeping up with Vol again.
0.
Cowie gone down the inside of Jacko.
And he's made it stick.
And it looks like Jacko's in the pits.
Jacko hopefully won't speed. Jacko's on low fuel as well. Yeah, so Jacko needs to be careful of that. But looking very, very exciting this race. Amenda as well. Amenda's just in a league of his own at the moment, just behind Tyne. Seems to be pushing that car to the absolute limit, especially with the ERS. He's using it all up. As Jacko pits, I thought he spun there. My bad. Zero as well. Zero, I think. He's pitted as well. He's the only one to not pit under safety car, and he's going quite well. So Zero is going to have to make swift work of all these back markers. But definitely it's possible, as Cowie's going to be overtaken by Steckel, but he's now going to take back the position into Woodcote. They're going to go side by side, surely not into Cops, as I think Cowie backs out there. I think he just doesn't want to have a crash with anyone. But the Racing Point is looking very fast at the moment. Thought he's going to go side by side into Maggots there, but yeah. Who is in your top 3 again, Duze? Wasn't it?
It was Jensen, Zero and Ballboy. And we have Cowie easily taking Stegel with the DRS. Stegel going into the situation, there's not going to be able to fire back.
Stegel's going to drop down massively with a pit stop as well. Ozzy gets off the...
Oh,
Oh.
3-second penalty. It's starting to look like a zebra crossing on the right of my screen with all
Yeah.
these penalties. But we have to remember David maybe will appeal that penalty because he did slow right down when he went off track.
Yeah, David will. As he's going to be overtaken by name change, I think, here, down into Stowe. Not much David can do about with it. He's trying to make it stick round the outside, which is a bit risky. How's he done that on the mediums? Oh, hopefully they don't make contact. They do keep it clean. A bit of wheel banging, surely not down the inside of the last corner from David. But yes, it's all calmed down a little bit there at least. As Amenda, look at Amenda. I think Amenda's using so much ERS here, he might even get the overtake done. Oh, wouldn't that be amazing? A Ferrari, McLaren, Ferrari podium. Just
Talking about Ferrari,
Jenson
if we have
doesn't.
Tyne and Amenda fighting, maybe Vol might slowly sneak up and maybe get a position and maybe a podium.
Oh, I think a spin would have to happen for that. Because as David, I think, makes up the move there. But Petrol, he's got a lot of ground to make up. But just seeing the racing points are going very well. Especially the new debutant, Cowie, looking really strong with a 9-second gap over Zero. Cowie looking really at home at the moment in FRL, like it's not his debut, but of course it is.
And I think we're underestimating how good Ballboy and O'Stephen, two F2 drivers last season, doing right now, running in 8th and 9th. And their rivalry right now, I've been seeing them go back and forth constantly. Why fight in the track as well? They're just running through the track. And as you can see, it's like a Vol thing. Everyone's got penalties around them and them two are keeping it clean.
I think if O'Stephen could get points, I think he'd have to pinch himself, especially with this grid. You look at the drivers around him, I don't know where he qualified, I think it was P16 would be my guess, but definitely this grid, especially with the drivers behind him like Rocco, Name Changer, you could say Lucas, David as well, they're very fast, and for them to be in the top 10 at the moment, and even going up positions, but even though it'd be quite difficult with, say, they're actually quite close to Zero, so they might be able to get Zero. But with Zero's pace, yeah, I think they'll be holding out for the minor points places.
Ballboy and O'Stephen qualifying, I think 15th and 16th, now 8th and 9th, so they've just been going as a pair. And JB, who qualified 17th, also following them, but just not being in the battle.
Oh, Amanda, I think that would be a warning, surely. He's definitely got a warning for that, I think, on the exit of Stowe. He's just trading time there. He needs to be careful he doesn't get a penalty, because I think, well, to be honest, he wouldn't drop any positions, but it's looking interesting with Jenson here. Jenson is, I mean, the tyres, from what I can see of them, look fine, but obviously on this game it's very hard to tell by visual looks of the tyres, but he's actually playing out the gap a little bit more and more now, so it'll just be, I think he would have pitted as well by now if he felt the tyres couldn't make it to the end, so we could be seeing a puncture late on, possibly, or just another Jenson win, so it will be definitely a grand set finish as Rocco down in 17th, not having the best of days, that's for sure, after winning in Austria. Yeah, it's gone a bit south for him as there's yellow flags.
I think that's an AlphaTauri. I think that was JB just for a second, but it looks like he's managed to get back on track.
As there's a massive battle as well. Just looking name changer.
We might have an overtake on our hands here as he's going out to the hangar straight.
He's got loads more ERS.
He's got the overtake. Is he going to be able to get him?
He's too far off. It's the dirty air. Yeah, as David, I've realised David, I think, just about to get overtaken there by Name Changer, is really just tooth and nail battling with Name Changer for 12.
3-second time penalty.
But yeah, what do you think of the debutants so far in terms of I think it's Cowie, Rosatel of Bressel or Lucas.
I mean, it's very disappointing in the superhero, but you know, I think that was more internet issues than performance. Rossell, he qualified good, but he's dropped a few positions and got a penalty. But at the end of the day, it's his first race. They have like half a season ahead of him. I'm pretty impressed.
Yeah, I definitely think apart from Superhero's Internet, which he'll probably get a new broadband after this race, I think, yeah, Cowie and Lucas, like you said, I think looking good, especially with Lucas being surely able to make up some points here. His name changer pits again, I think that's for fastest lap. But Lucas is going to have to overtake JB, which will be for points, and then somehow he's going to have to pull out, I think it's... Well, he's going to have to gain 7 seconds on O'Stephen and then pull out another 3 with his penalty, which...
And here we go to
yeah, it's going to be
second
tough.
time round, so to interrupt, but Pace and Vol again round the hanger straight. This looks like the only place they're going to be able to overtake, and he looks a tiny bit closer here, but I still think he's too far back to make anything unless he's going for anything drastic.
He's being patient here, which is sort of helping his teammate, but they're not
He has
battling.
got a penalty though.
He does have a
So
penalty like Cowie.
He does need to get that overtake and also the time.
God, every time I look at Amenda's ERS, it seems to be going lower and lower. He's 3/10 off time, which does look good, but he's just got too little ERS. Well, he's starting to look a little bit better now as he gets a bit of a snap. Pace gets close as well, as there's a battle with Lucas on JB. Through, coming into this going to be the start finish straight. Lucas is looking a little bit out of shape, but this is for the final points position, so JB's not going to let this go down easily. He might if he maybe gets a little bit lucky with his spins ahead. As Lucas, is he going to go outside the turn 1? He is, and he's made it stick. Brilliant overtake from Lucas there.
But JB might have the DRS detection zone, I think.
But played to perfection. But JB, he's going to try and have the last laugh here. Down into the, I think this is Wellington straight. JB's going to dive down to the inside. And he's just not close enough there. Not side by side to make the dive.
As the laps go on, we're going to have to start monitoring Jensen's tyre wear because he is on the mediums and we don't know if he is going to pit. He isn't, obviously he's not in a free pit window, so he's going to lose a load of positions. And see if he can actually hang on.
Oh, for a second I thought Cowie was 2/10 off pace, but to be fair, Cowie's really reeling them in here. Cowie definitely looks quite fast in FRL here. Definitely, I would say top 10 fastest in FRL for sure. He's gaining quite a bit on pace. It's now 1.3
Pace maybe
seconds.
getting a bit frustrated as he keeps lap after lap in the dirty air of Vol, trying to overtake him, and he just can't get the good enough exit out of Magnussen Beckett's.
Yeah, it just seems to be deja vu out of Magnussen Beckett's every time as Rocco makes a move on Jacko, but he has got the ERS unlike Pettervol, but Pettervol's now started to gain some. As still, there seems to be a battle for second, but there also is a battle for fourth, even though Pettervol doesn't have a penalty. So as things stand, I don't think anything will change, to be completely honest. There's Cowie, look at Cowie. Cowie's now going to be in the DRS, I think, making up plenty of time, and this is going to be for position with his teammate because they both have a penalty, so we could be having some racing point battles here. I think both of them being British as well is going to add a little bit of sauce to it.
I think Stegel just got Brookie as well on the DRS.
Oh, poor Cowie. Cowie's missed out by the DRS by, I think, just under half a tenth. So, so Steven gets a penalty. So now that means
help Ballboy.
Lucas is going to definitely be fueled as well. Lucas is now just going to have to gain just 4.7 seconds on him, which is going to be about just over a second a lap, as there's yellow flags. Is that David? I'd have a guess to say.
I'm not quite sure who it was.
I think we should check in on Jensen, see what he's up to. Well, to be honest, not much. It's quite easy for Jensen at the moment.
I wish you could see tyre percentages, but we can't. We've just got to guess. And it looks like Jensen might be able to nurse this home.
Yeah, look how
he's not going to pit with three laps to go.
He's driving very conservatively, but he's still driving at a fast pace, which says a lot about Jensen. I think if he can bring this home, it's definitely going to be another, I would say, what's it called? Well, if he can save the tyres this well every race, it's definitely going to come in handy.
The only two things we've got to look on now that's in the points is
Amanda?
The battle for second and this freeway battle for fourth. I think Vol will have it because of the penalties, but on track, pace, Cowie's managed to catch up, and pace is in the DRS of Vol.
I think Tyne has started to realise Mr. Jensen is going to make it to the end, and I sense a little bit of desperation about Tyne. His DRS has started to go down, and he's using it there, as you can see. I think Tyne inside that cockpit is going to be a little bit stressed now, because he's going to see that gap 3 seconds to Jensen, and I think he realises now the time is to push. And has he pushed too late? Because if Jensen's made it to the end, it might be just too little too late there from Tyne, because he's been cruising for sure. As he's still pulling out the gap, Jensen, so, but he's using his ERS now. As Amenda, once again, as always, it's been about 2/10 to, or 4/10 probably to Tyne the whole race.
Every time I've seen his ERS, it's been on low percentage. As one of the Mercedes, I think it was name changes that actually
Rocco,
spun.
ooh. I'm not sure what happened there. I think Rocco got another penalty. So Rocco and name change, they've had really poor races, that's for sure. But Amenda, look how close he is into Max and Beckett's. He's going to go just behind, right all over that gearbox here. I think it's the time now for Amenda. He doesn't have the ERS, but he's going to try again an attack. He's marking a treat though. He's 3/10 off him. Make that 2/10, but it's just...
I don't think he'll have enough.
Yeah. Have that hanger straight is just not long enough.
Will Pace have enough though, as he has the ERS and the DRS on Vol? Might be able to here if he goes for something, but I don't think he is. I think he's just. I think he knows he doesn't want to do anything dangerous. He knows he hasn't got the position because he won't be able to make enough time. So
Yeah.
I think he's just getting the car home.
I think this has been a very different in terms of positions. I don't think many would have expected this lineup, especially with Bullboy in 8th. No, Stephen is going to get 2 points at the moment as things stand, as unless either of them, I don't think they'll get puncture if they do.
The only thing that matters now is Amenda. Can he get time?
He doesn't have the ERS though. Oh, he was thinking about going down the inside there. Tyne, he broke very late. I think Amanda's just testing the waters here. He's got a bit more ERS, but once again, he's just going to use it all down this straight here. But yeah,
Tyne has so much ERS to defend with. It's going to be hard for Amenda. He's going to have to get such a good exit into the hangar straight to get him.
And there's yellow flags. I was just about to say, I'm waiting for yellow flags, whichever sector Jensen's in, for the puncture, but this would be heart-wrenching for Jensen if he doesn't make it to the end. He should, but he's going to cross the pit, well, the pit stops now, so there's no turning back here for Jensen. He's coming into the last lap. Can he get his first ever, well, I say first, I'm not sure whether he's won Britain before, but it will definitely be a sweet home victory. Especially if he wins the championship, he'll look back at this one. As he starts the last lap, he's just going to have to bring it home now. He's got a good enough gap to Tyne, so he's just definitely need to now just nurse those tyres right to the end.
3 second time penalty.
Look at Amenda
now.
Ooh.
Amenda might go for it here on this DRS straight.
He just needs
needs to get a good exit. It looks like Tyne every single time just getting a better exit out of the corners that are needed to keep Tyne ahead.
It's not an overtaking zone really into here usually. I think the best one I would personally say is obviously the hangar straight, but Amenda once again is just trying to be as close as possible to Tyne. Tyne has the ERS. Tyne isn't even using it. He's not bothered about using it at the moment.
He is low on fuel.
They're both low on fuel. Jensen's low on fuel. I think a lot of them are low on fuel.
Yeah.
Amenda though.
This is all or nothing now for Amenda.
Jensen's coming through the hangar straight.
Amenda
gets a penalty. And that's game over for Amenda. But it does mean I think he will get a podium as Jensen. He's going to come round Stowe here. Jensen, he's led not loads of the race, but since the safety car, he's made the right calls. He's bought for the mediums. He's played the strategy to perfection. Jensen's going to come round the last corner. And Jensen's going to win in Britain, his home Grand Prix. Celebrates it for the fans. As Tyne gets second and Amenda gets third. It's a McLaren third and a Ferrari second. Pedevol is almost being pushed to the finish line. As it's really strong from Racing Point, 5th and 6th.
And we have Zero, my prediction for second, getting 7th. And
Still
we have
strong.
Ballboy Stephen, 8th and 9th, with the debut of Russell 10th.
Yeah, he's just a little bit off here, Russell, to get
I think
9th.
Name Changer got the fastest lap, but disappointing to get no points because he was in it.
One mistake, and then I think he just got more and more. And Stegel, he's going to go side by side with JB, and penalties didn't matter there, but 47 thousandths between the two Red Bulls crossing the line. I think that must have got their hearts racing for sure. But 11th and 12th for Stegel. Stegel once again just outside the points agonisingly, but I'm sure for him it will work. Just maybe that strategy he could have played a little bit better. As Rocco, I think, overtook David there. Not sure whether you caught that, but seemed to...
I think they stopped on the finish line.
Yeah, maybe they knew they weren't going to get the points, but yeah, Name Changer, not the best of days.
Disappointing race.
He was...
Only one DNF though, so it was a clean race.
Yeah, Superhero obviously disconnected as Name Changer spins. I think that summarises his race as he, DNFs, which isn't what he would probably want on his record, but see what the in-game fans give Driver of the Day to. Ballboy. Okay. I think a lot of the FRL fans and Ballboys fans will probably give it to him as well, but Jensen, he's going to take home the trophy. This is his, I think it's fifth race win of the season. Jensen just looking really cool and calm and collected in every single race. As he wins now 3 in the last 4 races. So Jensen, he's the man on form at the moment. And he extends that championship even further to probably, I think it's going to be over 100 points now. It's going to be 109 without fastest lap obviously. So Jensen takes home the win, followed by Tyne, who gets second for the Ferrari. Amenda with the penalty sadly gets third, but I think that's going to be his first podium in 2 races. Is very, very solid from him. Pedavol, who was looking like he could be catching up to the fight for P3 and P2, just misses out. Pace, the 2 racing points, get 5th and 6th. Zero in 7th, maybe slightly disappointing, losing 2 positions. Ballboy Stephen, inseparable the whole race. Lucas, the debutant, gets 10th. And JB and the 2 Red Bulls, the 2 Renaults. And then Rocco, David, Name Changer, Superhero. And Arno, who didn't finish the race. That was pretty chaotic.
It wasn't an action-packed race, but it was definitely close all the way till the end.
As I think we should probably join the F1 interviews chats.
Yep.
As I'll do that now. To see what the drivers have to say. Yeah. Just entering the interviews chat now. As we are in the interviews chat, and we do have the race winner, Mr. Jensen himself. Well,
evening.
Yes. What a race, Jensen. I think once again in quali, you looked very strong, but probably just about not enough to obviously take pole. 2/10 off. How did you feel that your qualifying went? You were only 2/10 off. Did you feel? Apparently through Lovefield, Duze said you got a bit out of shape. So, is there maybe in Lovefield or any other place you felt you could have got pole?
It was, I'd say the final run. It was basically the whole lap. To be honest, I was losing it. I was gaining at some points where I knew there was time to gain, but I kept on losing it where I was pretty much on it at. But I was happy with I was probably my best banker lap I've ever done around here. Like a 23.9. I somehow kept P3, so I was pretty happy with that.
Yeah, definitely solid race once again. Winning your home Grand Prix as well is always something you like to do. Obviously in a championship, but
Yeah.
obviously safety car early on did make a field spread in terms of strategy.
Yeah.
You played
Bit
that,
lucky
to
with
put
that.
it well, to put it simply, you put it to complete perfection, especially picking the mediums. Did you know through practice that the mediums would make it to the end, or were you just walking blindly?
I've never really, yeah, like I said, I was walking blindly pretty much. I mean, I knew, of course, the softs were really durable around here. I think I managed to get them 17 laps before a puncture. So I knew the mediums would be very durable, and I knew, like, we would have shorter laps because of the safety car on the mediums. So, I mean, it's pretty much just probably 5 laps less, or 5 laps more, I mean, on the mediums than that everyone else would have if we went a normal strategy. So, I mean, it wasn't too bad. Only 69% at the end of the race as well. So, other
Yeah,
than that, yeah.
definitely. Once again, just you played, especially with the race pace and the conserving the tyres, like I think maybe T Hawk might have said in the comments there, like almost Lewis Hamilton. You did really well, especially throughout the whole race. When you took the lead from lap 11 onwards, obviously led the last 16 laps. But that's 8 podiums in a row now, 3 wins in the last 4, winning the championship by 109 points, Jensen. What can stop you, do you think?
Probably the same luck, or maybe with the same momentum for another guy, you know. But I mean, yeah, it's really, really good at the moment. Yeah, just trying to be as consistent as I can, just not pick up any penalties, try and not like take too many risks, of course. And yeah, a bit lucky with what happened to Name Changer in the pits as well, because he was leading, but he got helped by literally everyone on that first pit stop with the safety car. So yeah, bit lucky to have that P1 probably. Depends where Name Changer would have been, but he was on the hards, so it may have been different, but who knows. Fortunately, it didn't get to happen.
I think you should back yourself. I think Name Changer did obviously lose it into cops, so that did just mean it was you against probably puncture territory, which never, I think you said 69% was your tyre wear, whether it was
yeah,
that
I was
or
pretty
not.
confident. I was only getting 3% per lap, and with 22 laps, I was aiming at least below 75%. And when I got the gap to time, I got past, tried to pull the gap, I got the gap, yeah, sort of safe there, where I could sort of like chill out on the tyre using.
Yeah, I think into Hungary, obviously Hungary's a track where track position, as you probably know as well as me, is obviously very pivotal at the start of the race and in qualifying. Not to put a downer into Hungary, but you haven't got pole in the last, now this makes it 5 races coming into Hungary.
Yeah, but it's never always about qualifying, is it?
Yes, but obviously Hungary is going to be slightly different, but obviously
yeah,
it'll be interesting. But do you think in Hungary you can possibly once again just have that solid race pace and make the most of the race and bring back the points?
That is I'd say that's my strongest part at Hungary, the race pace. I think I've won the last few races in Hungary in my other leagues, so yeah, I'm feeling really confident for that.
Yeah. Solid. Well, obviously, well done for taking home the trophy and winning the British Grand Prix, and thanks for racing as always.
Thank you. Thanks for commentating as well as Juice.
And
Thanks.
is Tyne in the party? Probably isn't. Nah. So, Duze, do you wanna what's it called? Interview Amanda? If Amanda's here.
Sorry, you can take it away if you want.
Ah, cool. Is that Amanda? Ah, good. Well, Amanda, I think that would be definitely. We forgot drive of the day. I just realised, or our drive of the day for as commentators. But I definitely think I would put you there in third. Obviously, such a shame not to get second, but we should probably start with qualifying, where you did qualify. I think it was, wasn't it eighth? Was it? Ah, P7. Sorry, you were obviously P7 in qualifying. Didn't really matter too much, obviously, with the early safety car, where a lot of people around you did differ the strategy, but you were, I think it was 15 thousandths off P6, so it was close margins, but after that you were 2/10 off fifth. Do you think possibly you could have gained much out of it, or do you think you gave your maximum out of the McLaren today in qualifying? Hmm. Definitely. Obviously, you did make up the positions, which was obviously pretty pivotal in terms of just before the safety car. You got up to sixth, which obviously did quite well in terms of the safety car, because name changer, and I think it was Tyne and Jensen pitted ahead of you. Because obviously name changer got held up, you were P3. So that worked out really well for you. Do you think with strategy you maybe could have picked the mediums with obviously Jensen out in front, making it quite comfortably to the end without punctures? Mhm. 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 Yeah, of course. And in the end, obviously, you were actually throughout the whole race, I think, from lap 9 onwards, that's 18 laps, you were pretty inseparable with Tyne and P2. You were constantly with each other. Just in terms of when, obviously, you were in P3 and you were just behind Tyne, did you feel possibly Tyne wasn't pushing to catch up to Jensen, or did you feel like you were having opportunities to overtake him, if that makes sense? Yeah. Obviously, a little bit of a shame, obviously, to get that penalty. I think it was on the last lap in terms of, well, out of the hangar straight. You always looked very close to time, but just not close enough. Did you think possibly you would have hoped maybe the hangar straight was a couple hundred meters longer so you can make the overtake? Mhm. Well, in the end, obviously, you did get obviously third, which was very good, and possibly, well, obviously your best for this season. But you did get seventh, I think it was last race. So now you're bringing 21 points in 2 races, which is very solid for McLaren. Do you think in Hungary you can just keep up the momentum? Because if you keep on getting better like you did from Austria to Britain, you could possibly once again get another podium in Hungary, even though that might be a little bit out there.
Woo! Anyway,
Big boy news.
right, carry on.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry.
Can we finish the interviews, please?
Sorry.
before-
I forgot my mic was turned off. But yeah, great podium
Right.
from you, Amandus. And hopefully you can keep up into Hungary and get some more good points, like you said, 6th maybe. And is Pace in there? I think Pace got...
Yes, sir.
Pace. Another good race from you, and once again you were right in the battles the whole way through. In terms of qualifying, you did get 6th, which was pretty solid, and you were once again you looked really competitive in qualifying. Did you feel you could have, obviously, did you practice a lot for that, or?
I practiced a little bit, practiced for every race, but yeah, I felt like I had good pace and quality. I feel like I went a bit faster, but I don't think I could have improved on my position because the top 5 were a bit far ahead. But yeah, quality was good.
Well, in the end, you obviously got some really good points, especially for Racing Point. But throughout most of the race, you were writing some ding dong bells, right, like in Austria as well, when you were battling Hamilton and David. But yeah, did you feel as though in the race you could have did you make any mistake in particular where at the end that cost you? Obviously the penalty wasn't ideal, but anything in particular we missed maybe in the middle of the race?
Lap 1, I got pushed onto the grass at I think turn 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, turn 4. Yeah, I got pushed onto the grass there. Lost a few positions. Demoted me to around 9th, I think. But in the end, the safety car helped me out a bunch. Going on the hards, I don't think I could have done the mediums. I don't think my tyre saving's that good. So going on the hards to the end and jumped a lot of people. And it was just really I don't know who was in front of the Ferrari in front of me. I was just staying in his DRS because my teammate was catching. They were just playing it safe, just securing some points. That's it. Yeah, good race really.
Good to hear you playing the team game, but you were throughout the race, obviously. I think you were 10th on the hard. So early on, were you thinking possibly that your strategy wasn't going to work? With obviously Rocco and Zero and others like Lucas as well staying out with their strategy.
Yeah, it was always lingering. I didn't know how fast they'd be on the mediums and how far they'd pull ahead, but the DRS is so strong around here in the slipstream, so I think they would have struggled to pull ahead. When I had to make an overtake, I can't remember, I think it was a Renault. I got out on Mendes DRS and then he just disappeared into the...
Yeah.
And so I think I was always going to get top 5 after the safety car. And then name changer just binning it off at cops. He went in so fast, it was crazy. But yeah, he binning it at cops. Kind of helped getting P5.
Yeah, obviously a couple of incidents from the leaders, but you did look like you did have the pace over Pedovol. Just obviously the exit of Chapel wasn't probably the best out of Maggots and Beckett's. Did you possibly feel just maybe that was your weak spot on the track, or just Dirty F was the cause there?
I think it was a bit of dirty. Yeah, I think the tires got a bit hot sitting behind him for I think it was 13 laps. It was the last corner. I struggled with traction out of that corner, so I had to use a bit of overtake there. But that's probably where I lost most of my time. So I got to work on that for next season maybe. But yeah.
Well, once again, obviously you gained positions as well, which is good as well. Not just proving it in qualifying, but making it in a race. But again, a good race, just like in Austria, looking very competitive and always in amongst the battles, which is great to commentate over. But in terms of Hungary, obviously, it is going to be probably difficult to battle, but quite easy to follow. Do you think the main overtaking opportunity, obviously in Hungary, the last corner, Dirty Air might be the issue? Or do you feel like you have some sort of tactic into Hungary which might get rid of that?
I just try to qualify as high as possible. Honestly, I won Hungary in F2, so I might try to replicate that. Give it a long shot, but yeah, I reckon I'm probably top 8. I'll go for try to score some good points again, and it should be decent.
Definitely. Well, once again, thanks for. I think it's your home Grand Prix, unless you are Mexican. Otherwise, you have very good
I'm
Wi-Fi.
Mexican.
But yes, well, obviously good points, and hope to see you again in Hungary for some nice battles.
Yeah, cheers, bro.
Solid. As Cowie, is he in here or Zero? Okay, so we'll do Zero, who's 7th. Well, it was a little bit maybe disappointing considering you qualified really well in terms of 5th, and you were obviously just behind your teammate lap 1. But was it really annoying, possibly, because of the being 2nd in terms of just before the safety car, that you couldn't go on to the maybe the better strategy of pitting for the hards, or was that just the plan all along to stay out? Obviously a bit gutting the result, but in terms of the race you were looking quite solid there. Obviously leading early on around the mid race, but you did obviously pit at the end. I think it was for, wasn't it the softs? Am I right? Or mediums, sorry, probably. Did you think maybe at the start of your race the softs possibly just went off too much? You maybe could have pitted a lap earlier or a lap later and stuff, or maybe even pitted from softs really early on to the hards, obviously. Well, it's still points at the end of the day, and you do keep your point scoring. I think it's going with that's now 4 in a row after not starting Azerbaijan. So you are on a run, even though you're still looking for that podium, which will hopefully, for your sake, come. But we will see, obviously. And in Hungary, you've got fairly decent form in the pass round now. I think in F3 and F2. Do you think you can possibly, it might be your first race in Hungary in F1 if I'm wrong, take the fight maybe to your to the top 5 and possibly just maybe even sneak a podium? Okay. Well, what's the aim, Zero? What do you think's the aim? Okay. Interesting. As who's next in the interviews?
Oh boy.
Ah, okay. Well, Ball Boy, are you here?
Yes.
Good, good.
Hello.
Well, as always, we'll start with qualifying. You qualified, I think it was 15th, unless I'm mistaken.
Yeah, it was around 15th, I think so.
Mhm. Were you possibly
Yeah.
surprised? You were actually quite around, I think it was Little Brookie and O'Stephen, around that kind of area. Were you maybe a bit impressed or disappointed in your qualifying performance or anything?
No, I think it was to be expected. I wasn't aiming for pole or anything, so it was
Mhm.
like trying to like get as close to perhaps P11 as possible, so I could start on the mediums.
Mhm.
So yeah, I gave a name changer a slipstream, and he went
Ah.
fastest at the time,
Mhm.
and he gave me a slipstream back. But yeah, apart from that, like everything else was a complete disaster in qualifying.
Mhm. Well, obviously it didn't matter really starting on the mediums, but you did make the right strategy call to box under the safety car. You said in Austria you did think safety cars and penalties would be the way you would get points, and you made the good call on the safety car too, Pit. Was that completely planned, or were you, like others, just guessing whether to pit or not?
Well, because I watched F2 yesterday, I knew that the tire life was pretty easy to just go to the end on the hards and even the mediums actually. So yeah, I went with that, and that really helped me get 8th place today for sure. I was saving my tires a little bit, but not too much. But yeah, those definitely made it to the end, and yeah, I was quite shocked at 8th place because I thought I would probably score no points again, unless like loads crashed out. But yeah, so I have to really owe it to a great strategy call to go on the hards very early on under the safety car.
Mhm. You were battling early on with O'Stephen quite a bit. You seemed like a lot of other drivers, quite just like magnetized, couldn't get away from each other. Did you think maybe Mr. O'Stephen was hindering your race early on, and you could have possibly maybe got P7 if you didn't have all the battles?
No, he didn't at all. Because when I got close, I got past, and yeah, I think really that's the maximum I could have done today. Like P8 was, I think that's like a victory for me, P8, because I did not expect to get such a crazy, amazing result for myself. But yeah, I mean, I think maybe a late safety car because some people have penalties in front, but yeah, it doesn't really matter. I'm just thrilled with P8, and also I got driver of the day apparently, so
Oh
there's
yeah, you did.
another trophy I can add to my trophy cabinet.
Well, I think it might be the second or third time this season, but you did outscore your teammate, which is always a bonus. So possibly you can now call yourself the first driver in the team. But in terms of the constructors, it's getting really tight between you, Red Bull, Racing Point, and now teams behind like McLaren are starting to make charges, obviously with the new driver lineups and stuff. Do you think you can just maybe keep it up, and because obviously you did score points today, and it's the second race in a row. No, sorry, you didn't score points in Austria, so it's nice to obviously get points back on the board in Hungary. Once again, are you just hoping for penalties and safety cars, or do you feel you have really good pace around there, unlike other tracks maybe?
Well, I do like Hungary. It's a good track. But yeah, I've got to hope for accidents and things like that because there's no way I'm gonna score points. I mean, everybody's just miles quicker. I think today was all about having the right strategy and just being really consistent today. So yeah, I just have to hope for the best, and yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, obviously a great race, good point score as well, and hope to see you do well once again in Hungary.
Yep, and thanks for commentary and stream.
No problem. As is it O Stephen right next?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, O Stephen, you qualified, I think it was P16, wasn't it?
Yep, P16.
Your pace was quite good for an F2 driver. did you think, especially going on the mediums early on, it made you possibly a little bit faster on the softs? Did you think there was any more time in there? Because you were around Brookie and Bullboy, which was quite impressive. So, did you think you could have possibly
Yeah.
gained any more time?
Well, I was quite surprised that I was 39 thousandths behind him in qualifying on the same tyre, so yeah, but my main aim today was just to beat Ballboy during the race. I wasn't expecting any points whatsoever. I don't think Ballboy was neither, but yeah, to be so close to him, and then yeah, I got caught up with other drivers coming past, and then that made the time difference battling with him, and then I lost about 5 seconds at the end, I think it was. But yeah, I'm happy with today. Happy to get Haas a couple of points, and yeah, the safety car didn't help. But even if I'd have went on the softs, yesterday's race proved that I didn't catch up to anyone when I had 11 laps to go. So yeah.
Yeah, it was a quite competitive
Unfortunately.
race for you as well during the race. You were in amongst the battles. Must have been. Did you feel as though you were going to get points early on, or were you quite confident quietly that you were, obviously with a better strategy, going to pick up the positions with all the pit stops?
Yeah, I was just hoping and praying that people would have accidents, and yeah, but I wasn't hoping of any point, to be honest, today. I was hoping maybe P12 or P13 or something like that at best. But yeah, I can only do better with these, racing with these people who are faster. It can only improve me going into F2 for next week, so yeah.
Definitely. Well, once again, you did obviously score good points in F2, and you did this race, like Ballboy, outscore your teammates as well, so it is still solid points as well. So in terms of, I think it's you've the last 3 races in the F2 and F1, you've scored now points in all of them. So in terms of, well, I'll say both F2 and F1, do you think you can score points in both in Hungary and F2 and possibly F1?
F2, hopefully I get maybe P10 to P6 to P10 probably, with people's strategies and crashing out and stuff. But F1, I'm not looking to do anything much, just to race and not hold people up too much. But as we all know, Hungary is a death trap.
Yeah.
It's Monaco without the walls, so yeah, time penalty will be a must in that race, and Mr. Ballboy will be hoping for a late safety car on that one, I think, as well as loads of other people. But yeah, I'll just try my best as always, and if there's space, I'll race. If not, then so be it.
Well, once again, a very solid performance in both F1 and F2, and hopefully you keep the good roll going for Mercedes and I think Haas on Tuesday next week.
Yep, thanks for commentating, and Duze as well.
And is anyone else in the party?
Brookie?
Yeah, Rookie probably not. So I think that's the stream over. Well, I don't think Duze's in the party, but obviously thanks for Duze for commentating with me as well, making the nice comeback off for after a season, and thanks to all the 19 drivers for racing. Wait, who, sorry?
Jacko? I don't know if he's got a mic or anything.
Oh, well,
No, just
probably not.
Then,
but yeah, thanks all for watching, and it was obviously a brilliant race, and hopefully we get another one in Hungary, and tune in obviously on Monday for F2 and Tuesday for F1 to see if Jensen maybe can get another win, and for F2 to see if Macho can keep the domination going. And that is all for F1. See you in Hungary.